What is up, everyone? It is Vincent from the Big Pro Wrestle Talk Network here today with a video that we have done in the past. But you know what? I thought, hey, let's bring it back. Let's do it again. That was a fun time, and honestly, it got a decent amount of views on my end in my mind. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is who I think is going to take the titles off of every current title holder within the WWE. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Big Pro Wrestle Talk Network.
Big Pro Wrestle Talk Network. Big Pro Wrestle Talk Network. Wrestle Talk Network.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say first and foremost, this is not going to include the NXT titles or the Speed titles or Evolve titles. Even though the Evolve titles were just unveiled, we are not going to be including any of those titles within this video. This is only strictly main roster titles only. Alrighty, so the first titles that we are going to be looking at today, and I say titles because we're going to be talking tag team titles first, specifically the women's tag team titles. Now, the current title holders for that are the Judgment Day's Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And honestly, I don't see them losing these titles in a long time. And quite honestly, I don't think the WWE sees them losing these titles in a long time. That being because there are no solid women's division tag teams anymore. The titles, I honestly think, are going to become irrelevant, and they are going to become extinct. Because they barely had the NXT ones in for like a little over a year or two, and they got rid of those like that. So who's to say they won't do the same with this title, with the women's tag team titles on the main roster? But with that being said, I genuinely don't know who they can give these titles to, because there aren't necessarily women's tag teams anymore, like I said. You could talk about the Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, how they were the former champions, well, before the first Judgment Day win, whatever. But there are many singles stars who probably could form a team and do that. But I can see, honestly, the Secret Hervis with Chelsea Green taking those titles. Not Chelsea Green, because we're going to talk about Chelsea Green here in a little bit. But I think that I don't know. I wanted to say Lyra Valkyria, but that's not who's in the Secret Hervis. That's the women's IC champion. One of the Piper Niven and the other one. I can't forget her. I keep forgetting her name for the life of me, and I apologize if so. But I think they are going to take the women's tag team titles off of the Judgment Days. I almost said Rhea Ripley. The Judgment Days, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez. Now we are going to talk about the WWE tag team titles, the SmackDown tag titles, currently held by the Street Profits. They have a fantastic tag team division. I can see either DIY winning it. I could see the Motor City Machine Guns getting their hands on the titles again. But I think it's going to be a team who we haven't seen shine in that capacity yet. And that team is Pretty Deadly. Yes, boy! I think they are definitely in need of a tag team title run. They are former NXT tag team champions. They are former NXT UK tag team champions. And I think they would be fantastic. They would be a fantastic choice for winning the SmackDown tag titles, the WWE tag titles. Now, moving from there, we have the World Tag Team titles, who are being currently held by The New Day. Now, I could see anybody winning these, like I said. I feel like any tag team in WWE nowadays are capable of winning tag team titles. Now, I can see maybe The New Day holding on to it and maybe extending their longest title reign of all time, or beating the Usos' longest reigning tag title reign. But I could see them even going with maybe Jey Uso loses the world title and the Usos get back together and they get another tag title run in there. Maybe. I don't know for sure, but I could see maybe something like that happening. That would be fun, I think. It would be awesome and amazing and entertaining, that's for sure. But I could see, honestly, my pick for this, I'm really also doing these on the spot. Like, I have nothing really preset. The only notes I have are the current champions. I'm really thinking of these on the spot. So the New Day are the current tag champs. Maybe the Creed brothers. I mean, they just won on Monday Night Raw recently. They beat, I think it was the War Raiders they beat. I could see maybe the War Raiders getting the tag titles back, but I think my final choice, I think, is going to be the Creed brothers with American Made. Who knows? Maybe join fellow Speed champ El Grande Americano, who is not Chad Gable, to have titles. Who knows? But like I said, we're skipping the Speed titles. That's on here. That's on this list because I just looked up who are the current champions. Now we're going to talk about the Women's Intercontinental Champion. The Women's IC Champion currently is Lyra Valkyria, and it's looking like it's going to be Becky Lynch. And if it's not Becky Lynch, I don't really know who else. Maybe Mia Yim if they move her over to Raw. I don't know. I could see that being a thing there where Lyra Valkyria does lose her title to Becky Lynch and they just go on a back and forth. Especially this summer coming up, and that's when, like, you know, title reigns, they are pretty fast. Like, I think, like, the 2011 Summer of Punk between Cena, Punk, and Alberto Del Rio even. So, yeah, I could see Becky Lynch maybe taking that title. And maybe, I don't think that this is going to be an instance where she has to make the title has to make her, because we haven't seen Becky Lynch in a while. This is a new heel side that we haven't really seen since she was the big time Bex character, and all that stuff there. But who knows? I could see Becky Lynch maybe taking the title off. I just really can't really see who else could do it. Maybe Ivy Nile for the women's IC title. But I think it will be Becky Lynch. But now, moving on to the Women's United States Champion, who, for some reason, is not on this list, I'm just noticing. But I'll talk about her. Zelina Vega. She is the current Women's the Women's United States Champion, and I think Chelsea Green's going to get that title back. And this kind of goes back into what I was saying earlier with the Secret Service winning the women's tag titles, and I think that they're going to take over women's wrestling on the main roster, and that would be fantastic for them, because I think that what they have is something special, and it's something that a lot of women, especially in WWE nowadays, don't really have, unless you're Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, or Becky Lynch in whenever she became the man. Chelsea Green is a first ballot Hall of Famer. She is, and she's only been on the main roster back for a few years now. And she has done so much already. So much. And I could see her coming in, winning back this title, and maybe even going for the women's world title or the women's WWE title. But who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, it's one of those instances where we have to wait and see what happens. But I do think Chelsea Green definitely does get her hands back on the women's U.S. title from Zelina Vega. Now, we're going to go to the United States Champion. I love you, Solo. I miss when he'd say that.
I love you, Solo!
Jacob Fatu. I think he's going to lose it to Solo Sikoa or Jeff Cobb. The debuting Jeff Cobb, who just debuted at Backlash. I could see maybe they do another title run with LA Knight. I don't know, but my final answer for that is Solo Sikoa or Jeff Cobb. Most likely Solo Sikoa, because he's trying to be the new tribal chief still, even though he doesn't have that Ulafala, which they haven't done anything with, might I add, since Roman won it back. But I feel like there was a lot of story that wasn't finished. It was an unfinished story there. And I think that they definitely need to go ahead and revisit that here in the future. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, obviously. So yes, I think that Solo Sikoa is going to take the United States title off of Jacob Fatu. And then eventually Solo Sikoa will go in contention for the world title on Monday Night Raw, maybe. Who knows? They are saying that there's going to be a draft here within the next few months, so who knows what could happen. Next, we have the Intercontinental Champion of Dominic Mysterio, who, in my opinion, should never lose the title. Dominic Mysterio is something. He was the most booed guy, the most heeled heat, and that's what got him over. It brought him to the Intercontinental title. It brought him to winning, and I can see him, honest to God, not losing this title, or if he does lose it, he is going to lose it to Penta. Penta is, in my opinion, an option for any championship because he is a machine. He is great in what he does. He's definitely shown that improvement from the independents to Impact to AEW to now WWE. He is a top dog within the industry now. He is going to be that next Rey Mysterio that people have been looking for, and they tried to find it in Dragon Lee. They tried to find it in Kalisto, Sin Cara. I think Penta is the one to make that actually become a reality of having a new Rey Mysterio, new top luchador on the brand, especially with WWE acquiring AAA, which is huge in its own right. Penta is the past of professional wrestling, the present of professional wrestling, and the future of professional wrestling, and it is showing right now with what he is doing on Monday Night Raw. So, now with that being said, we are going to move into the Women's World Titles. I guess we should start with the Women's World Title. The Women's World Championship being the current champion, Io Sky. Io Sky is going to lose that title eventually, and I do think it will be to Roxanne Perez. Why? Look at what they've been doing with her on Raw. I'm pretty sure they just split Julia and her up after the show because they said, oh, this isn't working, whatever this is, it's not working. So I think that we do get Roxanne Perez taking that title off of Io Sky. Either her or Rhea Ripley, but my final answer for this is going to be Roxanne Perez. I am a huge fan of Roxanne Perez. I think she should have won the Elimination Chamber to go into WrestleMania and face Rhea Ripley at the time, but I get what they did, and it worked out fantastic. One of the greatest matches of WrestleMania weekend was that triple threat match for the Women's World Title, and so yeah, I think that Roxanne Perez is definitely going to be the one to take that title off of Io Sky. So now, let us move into the WWE Women's Championship with, Tiffy time! Tiffany Stratton, baby! Woo! Tiffany Stratton is something else. Let me tell you. Fantastic in ring. Fantastic all in. I don't want to say fantastic on mic, but she's getting better on the mic. She is a great wrestler, too. Like, she is, everything Vince McMahon wanted and begged for and dreamed about, but Vince McMahon is no longer in WWE or involved with WWE, and if he is, nobody knows about it except for him. Maybe his daughter and his son, but who knows? But Tiffany Stratton, I'm just so happy that it wasn't Charlotte Flair. God bless America. God does exist because it wasn't Charlotte Flair. If you don't know, I can't stand Charlotte Flair. I think of Gustavo from Big Time Rush. I can't stand Matthew McConaughey.
I can't stand Matthew McConaughey.
I can't stand Charlotte Flair. But I'm very hopeful Tiffany Stratton loses the title to somebody worthy of losing it to. Maybe a Chelsea Green, but I already said Chelsea Green's going to win back that women's U.S. title. This is where I'm kind of put at a crossroads here too, because yes, they have a dominant women's division just in general, but if we're looking at currently who's on the roster, Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, there's Becky Lynch, Bayley maybe. No, she's on Raw. They can do something with that. Shoot, honestly, I'm going to say Nia Jax. I don't like Nia Jax either, but I guess Nia Jax would be the one to take it off her, especially because, that's who Tiffany beat to win the titles, Nia Jax, so maybe they can do another heel run with that, maybe. Maybe Candice LeRae comes in and takes a win for the title. Who knows? yeah, I do think that maybe that's my final answer. I guess Nia Jax. I'm just trying to think of like who would be that person, because it's not going to be Charlotte Flair. It better not be Charlotte Flair. And if it's Charlotte Flair, so help me God, I'm going to stop watching. No, I'm joking. Like, you see this room I'm in, I got wrestling figures on this wall, that wall. I got them everywhere. But that's besides the point. So yeah, I'll say Nia Jax. All right, now we have the World Heavyweight Champion, 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet. We got Jey Uso, who's the current World Heavyweight Champion. Oh gosh, John Cena just fell from up above. Oh man. Maybe that's him telling me that I should talk about him now. All right, maybe we're just gonna we'll talk about you then, Cena. We'll talk about you. We'll talk about the WWE title. Okay. Sorry, Cena. That was weird. So yeah, I guess we're gonna talk about John Cena, undisputed WWE champion. Currently, probably Cody Rhodes, because like Cody's not on TV right now, but he will be. He's gonna be back eventually. Maybe Cody Rhodes does a whole thing in December, beats John Cena, passes the torch. I was gonna go into this huge long thing, but if Debut Cena over here wants me to talk about him, then I'm gonna talk about Debut Cena, because that's so weird that he just felt like that. And that's like my highest shelf too. It's like all the way up there. So we went. Bloop. Surprised nothing else in October. But yeah, I'm gonna say Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is gonna take back his WWE title and become the 2-time champ going into WrestleMania, and actually defend the title successfully at WrestleMania, and maybe have a better title run than his first one. But we'll talk about Jey Uso now. The 4 letters, 1 word. He's gonna not have that title much longer, I feel like. I think Karrion Kross is going to win Money in the Bank. Mark my words. Karrion Kross is going to win Money in the Bank. Sorry, my head's itchy. Oh gosh, look at that scalp. But Karrion Kross is going to win. And when Karrion Kross wins, he's going to wait. He's going to set something up down the road. And the next show that they have in Las Vegas, whenever that may be, that is when Karrion Kross is going to strike. That is when Karrion Kross will defeat Jey Uso and become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, which, in my opinion, is very, very well deserved. He is going to take it, run with it, drag it down to hell, bring it up to heaven, back down to hell, back to earth. That's how I see that title run going. Take that as you may. But, ladies and gentlemen, that was who I think is going to win every single WWE Championship within the WWE. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say, I am still your reigning, defending Big Pro Wrestle Talk Heavyweight YouTube Champion, and I don't plan on losing this title anytime soon, baby. And honestly, I just wanted to go into this real quick. You will be seeing a lot more of this face here on this channel again. Not in live stream, maybe in live stream settings. I want to be doing commentary. I want to be doing figure reviews. I want to be doing so much that I can now that I am available to do so. As you didn't know, if you didn't know, I was a current student in college. I still am a student in college, but for this summer, I have all the time in the world, baby. We're open. We're worldwide. And now I have one more semester left in college, going somewhere for that, taking care of that. It's going to be smooth sailing. And then I'm free to do whatever. So, like I said, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We have this huge area here. I'll pick up the camera here and I'll show you. I got this huge area here. Maybe I'll do an in-depth thing about it. Like, we got some Roman Reigns, we got the Luchadors, we got the Undertakers and Canes, we got John Cena, heel Cena, and then we got The Rock, we got Brock Lesnar, Chris Jericho, we got everybody, man. We even have some MJFs, miscellaneous. We have The Rock, we got the whole bloodline up here. So there is definitely going to be some more videos here soon. See, there's the Cena shelf I was telling you about. But there is definitely going to be more from me here at the Big Pro Wrestle Talk Network. I'm going to zoom out here because, oh my goodness, I can barely see me. Because as you can see, we're doing this kind of different than what I normally would do. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it once more. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, because Big Pro Wrestle Talk is back, baby. And it's not going anywhere. So, again, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, and goodbye.
Drop the like button. Give the subscribe button a people's elbow. And body slam the follow button on Instagram at BPWT Network.